Hey guys, my condolences to the families of the 5 people who lost their lives in the submersible on Thursday. So, who is really to be blamed for this implosion? Let's examine it. But before we do, can you guys, as you come onto the page, can you hit the like bell, the thumbs up? And if you have not subscribed as yet, can you do so at this time? Thank you. Now let's get into the video. So a lot of people are blaming the Oceangate CEO, Stockton Rush, who piloted the Titan submersible on the ill-fated mission. However, an investigation is still going on as to exactly what happened. So the deaths of these 5 individuals were confirmed on Thursday. It's reported that they paid $250,000 to get a glimpse of the sunken Titanic. So some people are now critical of the captain. They said he was exploring 2.5 miles below the surface in a tiny submersible navigated with consumer parts, meaning the parts were not suitable for such deep navigation. So here is a report by NPR News about the fate of the 5 people who passed away.
This morning, an ROV, or remote operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time. The outpouring of support in this highly complex search operation has been robust and immensely appreciated. We are grateful for the rapid mobilization of experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew.
Essentially, we found 5 different major pieces of debris that told us that it was the remains of the Titan. The initial thing we found was the nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that there was a catastrophic event. Shortly thereafter, we found a second smaller debris field. Within that debris field, we found the other end of the pressure hull, the aft end bell, which was basically comprised of the totality of that pressure vessel.
What are the prospects for recovering crew members? And so this is a incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor, and the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. And so we'll continue to work and continue to search the area down there, but I don't have an answer for prospects at this time.
So filmmaker James Cameron is now blaming Stockton Rush. He said he's struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster and where the captain was repeatedly warned about the ice ahead of his ship. And yet he steamed at full speed ahead into an ice field. So experts are saying that the passengers more than likely died very quickly because of the intense pressure of the North Atlantic deep waters. So in the above picture, we see Randy Holt to the right and Stockton Rush to the left. Now, Stockton Rush was the CEO and the founder of Oceangate, the submersible that imploded, killing 5 people. So, according to experts, the submersible went missing on Sunday and probably imploded the same day. The Coast Guard announced the deaths of the implosion on Thursday, which was set to occur close to the Titanic wreckage, 12,500 feet below the surface. It's reported that experts had cautioned that under intense pressure at extreme depths, the Titan's hull could implode, which would result in instant death for anyone on board the vessel. So, although the captain of the ship knew this, he still continued with the voyage or voyages. So, the water pressure was intense at 12,500 feet below the surface at the side of the Titanic wreckage is roughly about 6,000 pounds per square inch. You're talking the depth to which they went was as high as the Empire State Building. So according to Jasper Graham Jones, an associate professor of mechanical and marine engineering at the University of Plymouth in the United Kingdom, because the Titan had made more than 24 deep-sea dives, it put repeated stress on the hull. In other words, causing the hull to be weakened. So among the dead were Hamish Harding, Paul Henry Nargillet, Shajanda Dalwood, and his son Sulman Dalwood, and Stockton Rush, the CEO of the tour. So now the investigation is ongoing. In a twist of fate, this father and son team said that could have been us, Sean and Jay Bloom. This father and son had given up seats on the Titan submersible weeks before the implosion, after they had safety concerns about the craft. They said they were worried about the submersible and the ability of this craft to travel deep into the ocean. So after they gave up their seat, another father and son booked for this voyage, and that was Shazida and Solomon Dawood, according to CNN. So Gabe Cohen from CNN reported that Marine Certification Company says it declined requests to certify the Titan vessel. So Oceangate, in its advertisement, put out a press release saying the dive was validated by a representative from Lloyd's Registry. They said it was validated. They never said it was certified. Just the dive itself had been verified. Rachel Lentz, a Duke University biomedical engineer who had studied physiological requirements of survival underwater, said to CNN on Thursday she noted some of the vessel's design materials were already large red flags to people who have worked in this field, she said. So last year, Rush invited CBS reporter David Pugu on a voyage in which Rush admitted that he bought parts for his craft off the shelf at stores such as Camping World. So it's clear that safety measures were ignored. In 2021 press release that highlighted multiple redundant safety systems. But in a separate interview with Pugu, Stockton seemed to be very dismissive of the safety of the craft. He said at some point, safety is just a pure waste. He said, I mean, If you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't do anything, don't drive a car. And because of his dismissiveness of safety, 5 people, including himself, lost their lives. So an underwater implosion refers to the sudden inward collapse of the vessel, which would have been under immense pressure at the depths it was diving towards. So CNN also reported that the submersible was 1 hour and 45 minutes into the voyage when it lost contact. So here's a brief chronicle of events. On Friday, the expedition set off from St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada. So on Saturday, British billionaire and adventurer Hamish Harding, one of those aboard the submersible, posted on Facebook. And he posted that the weather in Newfoundland was the worst in 40 years. So on Sunday, according to Harding, at 4 a.m. Eastern Time, the submersible originally aimed to start the descent, but according to a post by Harding on Instagram, it started later. The post also goes on to read that a weather window had just opened up and we are going to attempt a dive tomorrow. We started steaming from St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada yesterday and are planning to start dive operations around 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So about 2 hours into the dive, they lost contact. So during the daytime, sounds were detected over several hours by Canadian Lockheed P-3 Orion aircraft equipped with gear to trace submarines. The U.S. Coast Guard, which announced this on Wednesday, did not give precise timing. But CNN and Rolling Stones magazine reported that Canadian craft detected banging sounds at 30-minute intervals. Rolling Stone says that sonar picked up more banging 4 hours later. CNN also reported the sounds later, but did not describe them as banging. So on Wednesday, there were several agencies involved in the search. During the day, the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, Canadian Coast Guard, and Oceangate expeditions established a unified command to handle the search. So on Wednesday at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, the U.S. Coast Guard announced that Canadian P-3 aircraft detected underwater noises, and the ROV, the search-operated vehicle, was directed towards the area where the noise was coming from. On Thursday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, it was reported that the vessel had 96 hours of air supply left from the time the passengers were seated. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, a debris field that was found near the wreckage of the Titanic in the North Atlantic contained pieces of the Titan submersible. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, it was confirmed that the debris was consistent with the loss of the pressure chamber and an implosion. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, they also said there were no survivors. YouTubers, drop your comments. Our prayers are going out to all the families who lost their loved ones in this explosion. I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.